Hello ladies, it's Mesa with kinsmade.etsy.com, and I am going to do a tutorial for you for these wool ball diffusers, essential oil diffusers. In the Simply Earth September subscription box, they sent us 3 little wool balls that are meant to be diffusers. I've made these 2 up, and I'm going to show you a simple beading technique to that you can do yourself. What I'm going to do, I have a couple of strands of thread here. I'm going to go ahead and make a knot. I'm not going to teach you guys how to do that. You just roll that off of your thumb. Lost the scissors. Just going to cut off this little tail. I'm just using regular all-purpose thread for this purpose. Now the bead that I'm using, let's get my light up here a little better. It's not actually a bead at all, so there's no hole. I'm going to have to pretend like it's a bead and designate a hole for it. So do the best you can to get through the center, and then I'm going to pull through. Pull this through, and then I'm going to actually reinsert my needle as near as I can to the center, and I'm going to pull up through as near to that as I can as well. Okay, there we go. And we're just going to pull this through, and it's going to make us a little walking bridge for our beads. We're going to pull it tight, not super tight, but snug. We don't want to squish the bead. Then what we're going to do is rotate it and do the same thing. Right up through the center. Oops. Try to go right up there. You can also do this with lava beads that you are probably also familiar with diffusers. So there, I'm just giving it a little snugging it up. And I want them to be on separate sides. So I don't want the section to pull forward. I want to tuck it back and keep it where I want it. So then I want to grab some beads. Just kind of chosen some random beads here. And I'm going to do a foundation row for you. You can choose any size that you like. On these I stayed with the pony beads, but on this tutorial I wanted to try a little bit bigger scale of a bead. So I'm going to take one of these, get one of them on my needle, one bead, and I'm going to go up through here, and I'm going to try not to catch the wool very much. So you can see I have thread here, and I've gone under just fine, and then I'm going to reinsert my needle into the bead and pull it all tight, and I want this bead to stand up. I'm going to put on another bead and do the same thing all the way around. You can see I'm supporting the bead with my finger beneath. And I'm also pinching the ball here, the wool ball. Okay. And I'm not going to worry about my thread stringing across that way yet. That is going to make a bridge for our next row of beads. So other than it having slack in it, I'm not going to worry about it at all. I don't want it to have slack though, so each time I do this, I'm snugging it up by pulling this thread and keeping all the work tight, supporting all of the work with my fingers behind. with a smaller bead, you don't have so much of a bridge here. Okay, so now we got to the end here, so now I have to make a decision. Do I want one more stitch here, or do I want to go ahead and close the gap? So I'm going to go ahead and close the gap. Don't want to get a whole lot of that wool. Although it may act as an anchor if I do, it also might pull at my wool ball and cause it to kind of unravel, which I definitely don't want. So, okay, and then I'm going to continue on around. Here's the other thing, if this slides out of the way, I won't be able to place it if I've anchored it to the wrong part of the wool ball. This. You can use any kind of thread that you'd like. Just make sure that it is going to go through the bead 2 or 3 times. 3 would be ideal. And also you want to make sure that your needle can also pass through with those threads. So just be mindful of your hole. Now, this is a difficult one because I've got to decide whether to put 1 bead or 2 beads here, because it's either going to pinch together or it's going to be all pinched and wobbly, weird, trying to get it jammed in. You know, like having too many teeth in your head. So, this is going to be a difficult one, but I think I'm going to go ahead and let it have a longer gap. And just put on 1 single bead. So then now I'm going to close everything up by going in the first bead that we did, going down through, and that way I have a continuous thread all the way around here. For my foundation, it's going to be the foundation of my second row, my finish row. Okay, so I could keep going. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little knot in right now. Just going to pass this needle through a couple of times. You can see I've looped. Pull those. Let me just put my thumb on it and give it a pull. This is my last chance to get those tight. So I'm going to go up into the next bead. And now we're going to put on our foundation row. Our foundation row, or no, this was our foundation row. So our finish row, you can do multiple rows if you'd like. Don't shy away from that. Your work gets floppier and floppier, so this is all I'm going to do. But okay, so to start your finish row, you're going to put on 3 beads for the first stitch, and you're just going to go to the nearest part of string. You're not going to worry at all about how many beads are going to go across the string. Okay, first one you do 2 or 3, and you go up through that bead again, just like we did. For all the rest of the stitches all the way around, we're going to do 2 beads. Supporting with my fingers. 2 at a time. Now I got to make a decision whether to try to crowd one on here or to go over to the other gap. I think I still had enough room to do that. It'll make a difference in how all of your beads sit, so just be mindful of that. Okay, try to rush through this part. And one thing you want to make sure is that your bead is standing up, that you want your stitches to be close enough to where that bead stands up. So that's why supporting it with your fingers behind is important, so that you get the placement of your beads right. Okay, somehow I got goofed up here, so all I'm going to do is back out my needle. Just let my needle go back. Back through the path that it took until I get back to where I'm not messed up. Which means I'm going to have to probably take off these pieces of beads. Yeah, these beads are going to have to come off. And I'll Okay, this is where it started looking wonky. So what did I do? Alright, pass my needle back through. Okay, I see I forgot to go up in between. Okay. I hope you guys enjoy this beading as much as I do. I think it's a super simple project. The bigger beads you use, the bigger your end result will be. So you can have a nice big impressive thing with really just a handful of stitches, which I think is nice. I would love to hear in the comments if you guys have tried Simply Earth essential oils. They are 100% pure oils, very high quality. I have used doTERRA in the past, and just budget-wise and doTERRA was an uncomfortable match for me. For many reasons. But I really enjoyed the monthly box that Simply Earth has. It's $40 and you get 4 full-sized essential oils for about $40. And you also get all of the little other little supplies that you need. You get recipe cards, and then they send you little supplies. In addition, you might need to use some of your household items to execute the recipes, but they teach you how to use essential oils with confidence and to do so safely. And that was something that I wasn't finding with other companies. I was finding a lot of people giving medical advice. At Simply Earth, they're approaching it from a aromatherapy point of view. And so the practices tend to be a lot safer that they're advocating. And they have a very different pricing structure, a different business structure, which allows them to not have to mark up so many times before it gets to you, the end user. And so the prices are really reasonable, so I hope you'll check them out and use my code MESAS50, MESAS50. And if you subscribe and use that code, you will get $10 off your first 5 boxes. All 5 boxes you'll get $10 off, which is a $50 savings if you stay with them for 5 months. If you stay with them for 6 months, you get an extra big bonus box, which has all kinds of things in it like coconut, carrier oil, almond oil, and all your little roller bottles and things that you're going to need to be doing your mad scientist thing. Okay, now we are here and I need to make a decision about one more bead or close it up. And I think closing it up is the better option here. So I'm only going to put 1 bead and I'm going to go down. Okay. Now I could go down, I could knot right here on this foundation thread. I could do my knot there, but because I have one of these beads close, I like to get back down toward this wool. Because of it being fuzzy, I think it's going to hide my knot a lot better. And just give me a little bit more polished look. Okay, so I'm going to catch that bottom thread. Just do a little knot, pull tight, and then I wouldn't want to clip it off there. What I want to do is go in close to the knot, just head over through the plushy wool, and I'm going to use my scissors and push with my scissors and snip, and I cut that so close that when I just do that, massage that a little bit, you're not even going to, it's going to kind of suck back into the ball and you won't see it at all. So then the other thing that I did was I used just a paper clip and I just opened it up carefully without poking yourself. I just kind of opened it up like that and just kind of threaded this through, pinched it tight, and then I feel like I could hang that pretty much anywhere. I could hang it in my car. It is intended for a car diffuser, so that would be fantastic. With the bigger beads here, mine turned out bigger than the others. The finished size turned out much bigger, more impressive, a little more like a flower. I kind of like this one quite a bit. I think the Peru Balsam, I love this, but I love the smell, and especially for fall, it smells like vanilla. This is the closest thing I have ever had to vanilla, and much cheaper than the actual vanilla, but it is a very dark toned oil, so I'm going to opt, because I don't want to stain, I'm going to opt for something that has a little less color, and I'm going to go with grapefruit, which this almost looks like a grapefruit cut in half. This is kind of my inspiration. You do not want to overdo it, although I was kind of surprised at how many drops the little ball will actually hold. And I've been hanging them on my houseplants, but I am going to hang one in the car, on the car vent. I also thought you could do jewelry. You could go ahead while you have your beads out, make yourself a little, string of beads and make a little necklace, with this being the charm of the necklace. You could want to talk about the lava beads. Oops, where are my lava beads? Oh, paparazzi. I have a friend who sells paparazzi. I will put her link in the comments. But they have these $5, everything from paparazzi is $5. They have these lava bead bracelets, and they vary how many lava beads they actually have on them. But for $5, I found this was actually cheaper than buying it at a craft store. Because the lava beads can tend to be kind of expensive if you've been out there shopping for them, and these can be, cut up and go Frankenstein them in your own style. This actually was one of the prettier ones that I was able to get from paparazzi, and I do sell diffuser jewelry, so if you want to check out my creations, go to kinsmade.etsy.com. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this DIY. Thanks for tuning in, ladies. Bye-bye.